statistical, mathematical fact
never has been down.
has broken every single record. There is no asset that has come close.
It's the only thing in the industry that was not touched, that was not hacked, and it never fails doing what it promised in 2009. It's never
What's
failed.
the best performing asset the world has ever seen? And you'll find out that it's Bitcoin.
Welcome, my traders. Welcome, my Bitcoiners. Welcome, my followers. Welcome to my haters. Welcome to everyone. Welcome. All right, I am back at home after about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks being on the road again. It's always good to be back home. I can never really do these when I'm on the road. It's always my days are always tend to be chock full of activities and things of that nature, which make me sitting down and actually having a casual conversation with you almost a near impossibility. But I'm back, and I've missed you. I wanted to really have a very brief conversation about something that I've been pondering a little bit, or actually more than a little bit, in some of my daily meditations regarding Bitcoin and so forth and so on. And so I'd like to share some of the things that have sort of hit me like a ton of bricks and have connected some of the things that I have looked into many, many years ago, things that I thought that I would never have any practical use for in my day-to-day life, but somehow Bitcoin seems to tie together virtually every single thing I've ever studied in my life, every single thing I've actually been fascinated with or looked into or delved into. And it seems to kind of put everything or weave everything together into this neat little tight cohesive whole. And I find that quite fascinating. Now, for those of you who have never really experienced one of my spaces before, let me just briefly tell you how I run them. I usually don't bring people on to actually speak. I usually sort of just do this. What I hope tonight will be a brief monologue on a topic. I will be reading your comments and your questions throughout the monologue, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at least to touch upon anything that you might want to discuss or question regarding the monologue. But as you'll see, traders, Bitcoiners, I titled this Bitcoin Bends Time in Our Favor. And time has been a topic that I have largely been interested in for a very long time, since a child. Some of you are familiar with the fact that my mom was a librarian, and as a result of that, I was forced to go to my mom's library throughout the majority of my adolescent life, every single day after school, do my homework in her library, and wait there after I did my homework until she got off work and we went home together. And so that meant hours upon hours every single day. And many times on the weekends, I did nothing but spend my time in the libraries. I did two primary things in my life in my younger years. I played the piano and I read. I read profusely. That's what you do in a library. I read virtually every single book in my mother's library. My mother actually, when I began to get exceptionally bored in her library, she filed to actually get transferred to my town's very large library. And that took about a year for that transfer to take place. And then I began to spend time in the massive library in our time, and I went through a good portion of the books they have there. One of the things that I became fascinated with, guys, very early on, for whatever reason, was Albert Einstein's law or theory of general relativity. And I began to go down the rabbit hole with his theory. It fascinated me to no end, especially as his theory touched upon the concept of time, which for whatever reason, I always had this obsessive intellectual curiosity about time and how it affects all of our experiences. Now, According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, um, when you apply it to space and time, his theory suggests and has actually been proven that time can often be warped or bent. So time is bendable, time is actually foldable. And this concept of warped time through the theory of general relativity was something that fascinated me to no end. And I studied it quite deeply. Now, this bending of time is also the bending of space because time and space are actually identical to each other at a higher realm of existence, right? So time and space are identical. And if time can be built, bent, or folded on top of each other, so can space simultaneously be bent and folded on top of each other. And for those of you who are not familiar with the concept of warped time, as an example, would suggest that it's possible to experience through warped time a moment right now and at the same time experience a moment that has occurred 1,000 years ago and perhaps at the same time experience a moment that has not quite occurred in your experience 100 years from now. So depending upon where you are in that folded time spectrum, you could be in the middle or at the opposite ends of that spectrum. So you could be looking at or experiencing time today, time yesterday, and time tomorrow all at the same time. This can also be visually seen possibly in one picture, where one picture in outer space can capture something that has occurred millions of years ago, at the same time can capture something that is occurring now, and perhaps something that has not quite occurred as of yet, all at the same moment, all at the same time. This is the concept of warped time or bent time. Now, I know this sounds strange as a topic relating to financial issues, but I'll try my best to sort of draw all of these things together. So there are actually two general ways or two general forms of time warping. And time warping, the technical term for warp time is called time dilation. And there are two forms of time dilation. There is gravitational time dilation, and then there is general motion time dilation. Now, it's actually gravitational time dilation that I want to spend a little bit of time explaining because that seems to be the time dilation that is connected a little more closely to the things that we like to discuss here. So let me just take a moment to explain what I mean or what is referred to by gravitational time dilation. Based on this theory or concept of gravitational time dilation, a theory is predicated on the fact that large bodies of mass, right, like planets, stars, black holes in space, these large bodies of mass have very powerful gravitational pulls. These gravitational pulls are more forceful when you are closer to these large bodies of mass. So the closer you are to these large bodies of mass, the stronger that gravitational pull. So these big, giant, large bodies of mass, they have this large gravitational pull into black holes, if you will, right? And this gravitational pull is perpetual. It's never non-existent. It's always pulling, always. And it's extraordinarily powerful. But it's more, the closer you are to it, the more powerful that force is. And the further you are from the large bodies of mass, the lesser the effect of that gravitational pull. Now, we know this quite naturally in our daily lives. We know and have felt and experienced the force of gravitational might, right? I don't care who you are, what color you are, how wealthy you are, what kind of influence you wield. If you step off of a 40-story building, you're going to meet your peril no matter who you are, and everyone will meet their peril the same way. the gravitational force has no favorites. All right. We know this. But here's something interesting. This gravitational pull actually affects time. The the gravitational force by these large bodies of mass, they actually warp time. Now, this is not a trick of the senses. These gravitational forces actually do change time. They warp it, they bend it. And one example of this bending of time has been experienced by, as an example, um, we have atomic clocks that have been on satellites for years. These atomic clocks measure time on satellites, but these satellites are great distances or relatively great distances away from planet Earth, right? Now, these clocks are they're not really fundamentally different from the clocks that measure time on planet Earth, yet all of the atomic clocks on satellites actually run faster than the clocks that are measuring time on planet Earth. Now, why is this? Time is actually changed the further you get away from the body of mass, that body of mass being planet Earth, right? So the satellites and the clocks on those satellites being further away from that gravitational pull experience time faster. They sense it faster. They see it faster. The entire experience of time runs faster the further away from the gravitational pull you get. The closer you are to the landmass called planet Earth, the slower the time actually is. So time is slower on Earth because of that gravitational pull, and it is faster away from Earth because you are moving away from that gravitational pull. And so the clocks on Earth run slower, even though the mechanics are the same. The clocks actually run slower on Earth than the clocks run on the satellites away from Earth. And that is gravitational time dilation. All right. The further you are away, the faster time occurs. Now, the force is not any less in a sense. It's that the time is different. Now, now let me try to connect this to something that we like to talk about. All right. Money, Bitcoin, the US dollar, what have you. If I were to tell you that, and this is factual, if I were to tell you that $1 today is actually equivalent to $26 in the year 1913, you could intellectually understand that, but it would be hard for you to sense how that came to be. All right. That means that the debasement of the US dollar, the decline in the dollar's value over the last 100 years has been exponential at best. All right. It has been by orders of magnitude. A dollar today used to buy $26 worth of merchandise in the year 1913. All right. This means that $25 of value was actually stolen from the people that use the US dollar. That value actually went somewhere. It went to a small group of people who actually controlled the debasement of the dollar. And it was taken away from the masses that basically experience that dollar on a day-to-day basis. All right. That is actually financial alchemy, which is a fancy word for theft in a way. Now, if I were to show you, and I'm wondering if I can do that here, if I were to show you an image of that debasement of the US dollar, right? If I were to show you that, I don't know if I can do this. I really don't know how to do this, guys. I don't know how to operate this thing here. I don't. But if I were to show you, and this I did in my last post, in my last thread, I showed the decline in the US dollar's value, right? I showed that decline over the last 100 plus years. And if you look at that chart, you'll see it straight. It's a hockey stick, straight down to the right. Okay. $1, $26 was the value of a current dollar today. Today, it's only $1. Now, it's easy when we step back to see in an image, in an instant, and to sense the decline in the dollar's value. But why is it that you don't see it or feel it in your daily lives? Why is it so hard to grasp the fact that every single moment of your life, every single second, there is a leak in your life? There is a leak in your very value. There's a leak in your time. There's a leak in your effort. There's a leak in your energy that you are slaving and working every moment of your life. You're dedicating your life to get an item that is actually perpetually disappearing, dissipating, and declining in value. From the moment you receive it, it starts its gravitational decline, but yet you don't feel it. You don't see it. You don't sense it. You don't sense this urge, this urgency to get rid of this before it continues to decline more on it. You don't understand that inside of that US dollar that you gave a portion of your life for, you gave your time for. Life, time is the stuff your life is made up of. So you gave your time for this dollar. 8 hours of your time, 10 hours of your time, a week of your time, 40 hours of your time. In exchange for that time, in exchange for that life, you receive this item that has a gravitational pull to the downside, a gravitational pull that is forceful, that is actually real, that never lets up, that never subsides. It is a gravitational pull towards zero from the moment you receive it, yet you don't sense it, you don't feel it. But if I were to take you away from your daily lives and have you step back away from planet Earth, away from your day, and show you a chart, an image of the last 100 years, you would see that line drop in an instant. Time in this way is warped. It's warped because you are too close to planet Earth. You are too close to the gravitational pull. Being close to the gravitational pull makes it seem as though it's not forceful, it's not powerful, it's not impactful, it's not occurring. It is factual that we here sitting on planet Earth are traveling at millions of miles an hour. Yet because we're so close, we can't see it, we can't sense it, we can't feel it, and we go about our days as if that's not reality for us. The dollar that you give your life for is declining precipitously. It is declining forcefully. It is eating away at your life. It is like pouring water in a boat with a big giant hole, the hole of which grows every single year bigger and bigger, which requires that you keep putting more and more water in to prevent the boat from sinking. But this is not felt because you can't sense the fact that your value is disappearing on an hour by hour basis. You're too close to it. You can't sense that your life is waning away as you hold your life in your bank account, as you hold your life in your property, in your real estate, in your stocks, in your gold, or whatever it is, that whatever you're stuffing it into, whether you're stuffing your life into your mattress, whether you're stuffing your life into a vault somewhere, whether you're stuffing your life into another item that might be dissipating less, it's still dissipating. The force is still real. The gravitational force is still there, but because you're so close to it, because it's you're so close to it, it appears that it's happening very slowly. And it appears, in a sense, that it's not happening at all. You understand that it's happening intellectually, but an intellectual understanding is not enough to create an urgency to escape this trap. And I am here to tell you that Bitcoin is the only escape from that gravitational pull. Bitcoin bends the time back in our favor because Bitcoin allows us to, instead of inserting our energy, our time, our effort, our life into this item that has the gravitational pull towards zero, we can instead insert it or change it over to an item that has no gravitational pull whatsoever. We can pull it out of the universe. We distance ourselves so far away from the gravitational pull that the gravitational pull towards zero has no effect. Bitcoin is the escape from that gravitational pull. It's the escape from that silent, ever so gradual, but forceful nonetheless force that pulls our life toward zero. And one of the ways that I have found the most effective in my travels and talks about this around the world is to explain the money that you work for in the form of a token. Because the cryptocurrency phenomena has swept the world, speaking about money in the form of a token seems to have resonated more today than it ever has before. And I was just in Mexico City, talking about this. So I explained to them that you and I and all of us, we have been forced into a form of financial slavery without realizing that we are actually in participating in one of the most vicious forms of slavery that ever existed. Because initially, slavery traditionally was about taking 100% of your time and all the fruits of your labor that your time produced and giving that over to someone else. That was the traditional form of slavery, where I, the slave master, owned 100% of your time, and I owned every single thing that your time produced. All right. So whatever your time produced was mine. 100% of your time belongs to me, and 100% of what that time produces belongs to me. Now, in exchange for 100% of your time and what that time produces, I give you something in return. I give you a home. It might not be a great home, but you have shelter. I give you clothes. It might not be great clothes, but you do have clothing. And in exchange for 100% of your time and everything that time produces, I give you food. It might not be nutritious. It might not be the highest grade or the highest level of food, but I do, in exchange for what you give me, the master, I do give you something in exchange for that: your shelter, your clothing, and your food. Now, that was the traditional form of slavery. But the modern form of slavery is far more vicious than that. And it goes something like this: you give me 60% of your time. Now, this 40, let's say 40 to 60%, you give me 40 to 60% of your time. Instead of 100%, I'm just going to take 40 to 60 because I can only apply 100% of this slave system to a small group of people. I cannot do that to everyone. But why limit slavery to a small group of people by taking 100% when I can enslave the entire nation, irrespective of color, creed, breed, pedigree? I can apply slavery to everyone if I take a little bit less. So 40 to 60% of everyone taking 40 to 60% of the time from everyone is far more profitable than taking 100% from just one or two groups of the nation. So the modern form of slavery takes 40 to 60% of your time, of everyone's time. Now, in exchange for the 40 to 60% of the time you give, all right, in exchange for that, I am not going to give you food. I am not going to give you clothing. I am not going to give you shelter. Instead, I'm going to give you a token that I created. So traditionally, I used to take 100% of your time and give you all of those things. Now I'm going to take 40 to 60% of the time, and I'm not going to give you those things. I'm going to give you my token with my pictures on it. I'm going to stamp pictures on the token. I'm going to put little dates on the token. I'm going to decorate the token so you feel that it's nice and fancy. But that's what you're going to give your life to me for. You're going to give me 40 to 60% of your life. I am going to give you this token. Now, with this token, you are going to buy my food, you are going to buy my clothing, and you are going to buy my shelter. And I am going to demand that the only thing you can use to buy it is my token, so that you can't cheat, you can't go to another token, you can't go to another system. You are forced to you are forced to give your life for my token. You don't have any choice. The token that I created in the back room and made fancy for you. Now, you're going to take my token, which you have no choice of taking anything else for your time, your labor, your effort, your life. You're going to take my token, and then you're going to buy my goods. But I am going to make sure that every single year, to keep you working, to keep you dedicated to giving your life to me more and more, I'm going to make sure everything that you buy with that token gets more expensive every single year of your life. So that the thing last year that you bought for one token will now cost you two tokens, which means that you now have to give me more of your time, more of your effort, more of your life for the same thing. And the thing that you bought this year for two tokens, I'm going to make sure costs three tokens next year. And the next year, it's going to cost four tokens and five tokens and six tokens for the same thing. That Big Mac that you used to buy for 60 cents, I'm going to make sure that Big Mac next year is $1. And then I'm going to make sure that next year that Big Mac is $2.50. And I'm going to make sure that that same Big Mac is going to be $3 and $5, then $6, then $8. And while we're at it, I'm going to hit you both ways, because I'm going to shrink the size of the beef in the Big Mac as I increase the price of the Big Mac on you. So as the price is going higher, I'm going to clip the amount of meat in the Big Mac, making it less and less of a Big Mac, while the price is more and more. And this will guarantee that there is no escape for you. This will guarantee that there is no choice for you. This will guarantee that you stay loyal to giving me your time, your labor, your very life, the very essence of your soul to me and the generations that follow me. You see, I will always control the token, and you will never control the token. My kids that come after me will control the token, but you will never control the token. Their kids, my whole generational line, will control the token, and you will never control the token. But your generation will work harder and harder for my token. Your children will work longer and harder for the same house that you bought 30 years ago. Your children will work 5 to 6 to 7 times more for me to get the same house. Their children will work 10, 15 times longer and harder to get the same house that their parents got. And we're going to continuously make sure this cycle never ends. And I am telling you, this is the most vicious form of slavery that ever existed in the human experience, financial slavery. The forcing of one to give their life for some other man's token that they then must go buy things to support their life that continuously go up in price, which in a way is nothing more than the token becoming less and less valuable. This is a perpetual loop. It is a gravitational pull that you can't escape until you break through the universe. You can't escape this slavery. You can't escape this gravitational pull staying close. You have to exit the universe. You have to exit the atmosphere. You have to get so far away that that gravitational pull has no longer an effect on you. And the only way that's capable, the only way that gives us the ability to escape, we never had an escape until 2009. It is the emergence of Bitcoin. It is the discovery of digital scarcity and the creation of a protocol based on that discovery. That's the invention. The protocol is the invention. Digital scarcity is the discovery, and a discovery can only happen once. And so Bitcoin is it. There is no second escape. Do you understand? NFTs are not the escape of this slavery that I'm explaining to you. Are you kidding me? NFTs are not the solution. All right. Faster transaction speeds to buy bullshit is not the solution to what I'm explaining to you here. Do you understand this? All right. Identification by scanning your eyeballs is not the solution to the slavery problem that I'm explaining here. And what a lot of people don't understand is that this is about life or death. This is about something that actually, for the first time in the human experience, is affecting the entire planet. Everyone at the same time is enslaved at the same time. This has never before existed in history. Slavery was a rolling phenomena. It was never a global phenomena. It was never universal. Today, it's universal. And everyone, to a certain extent, except the very, very, very few, everyone is subject to it. No matter how wealthy you are, you're subject to it. In fact, in many respects, the wealthier you are, the more subject you are to this gravitational pull, which means that you have to be smarter at switching the token for something else that is going down slower, that has a lesser gravitational pull to it than the others. But all of the things except Bitcoin have some form of gravitational pull. Real estate is affected by that gravitational pull less than just pure token money, USD, but it is still affected by the gravitational pull. Stocks, in particular, NASDAQ-oriented, technology-oriented stocks on the NASDAQ, they are affected by that gravitational pull less, but still affected nonetheless, just to a lesser degree. But the gravitational pull is there. The only thing that does not have that gravitational pull in the entire universe, do you understand, is digital scarcity. Bitcoin, built on top of digital scarcity, is outside of the system, outside of the universe, outside of the atmosphere, and has no contact with that gravitational pull. And so the act of escaping today, the act of becoming free today, is one and one alone, and it is taking the token that you don't need to buy your food, your clothing, your shelter with, that those excess tokens, and flipping that into out of the system, flipping it to something that is not subject to that gravitational pull. And so, guys, I don't want to keep you long. I was just contemplating on this. And as I was contemplating on how Bitcoin actually is time, it began to immediately connect with my study of time through Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity and how time is bent based on how close you are to something. And the closer you are to something of big mass, the stronger the gravitational pull. But yet, despite the fact that the gravitational pull is so strong, you feel it the least. And that's the trick. That is what has the vast majority of people asleep today and incapable of capturing what I'm trying to pound my table on the fist, pound my fist on the table about every single day. I can't seem to break through in mass. I can't seem to get people's eyes open to see this because they don't feel it. Why? They're too close to the gravitational pull. But the closer you are to it, the more powerful it pulls you down. But yet, the more powerful it pulls you down, the closer you are to it, the less you are able to feel it or sense it or see it. It's only when you get away from it that you see it. It's only when you get detached from it, outside of the universe, off of planet Earth, as it were, for lack of a better phrase, that you begin to see how powerful that force is, how damaging that force is, how much wreckage that force does. But being close to it makes it virtually almost impossible. And this is why I and many others who actually have had this epiphany or see Bitcoin as freedom. It is freedom from this trap. It is freedom from this gravitational loop that everyone is stuck in. I show images of what's happening to your token, to the US dollar, or to any other bullshit currency, fiat currency that you're dealing with in life. I can show you image after image of that going down, and you'll tell me, yeah, I get it. That's great. That's amazing. Oh my God. And go right back to basically acting as if that's not happening to you, that your life is not being dissipated every second, that you are not being gravitationally pulled towards zero every moment of your life. You're acting as if you go back to acting as if there is no urgency here. You go back to feeling and believing that it's no big deal. You go back to feeling safe with the very thing that's pulling you towards zero, even when you see it in your face. The thread that I wrote today, I feel outlines step by step what's happening to you. And most people won't even go through that. Most people will read the first one. They won't bother to open the thread, and they'll read the next one that shows up automatically. Maybe that's the last one or close to the last one, and that's it. I see it in the likes, and I see it in the comments on threads. The middle of a thread has almost zero likes or very small likes. The first post in an 8-piece thread, that first one will have 30 or 40 or 50 likes. The last one will have 15 likes, and in the middle will have 2-3 likes apiece. People won't even take the time to open the thread. The people that actually do open the thread, they're at a different level and get through it, say, wow, that was interesting. And the moment they close the thread, they're back as if what was shown to them means absolutely nothing, that their life is not being affected that way, that they're not dying the slow, constant death caused by this gravitational pull. Every single second your feet touches planet Earth, you are being pulled forcefully into the center of Earth. This is why older people shrink over time, because they get shorter over time. Their stature decreases over time because of the gravitational pull, yet they don't sense that gravitational pull. They don't sense that that pull is actually shortening their life, shortening their stature, shortening their bone structure, shortening their time here. That's right. Gravity shortens your time here. And so it is not felt because you're close to it. Now, if you were to get a little bit further away from the earth and go to the fourth floor of a building, it would be felt more, wouldn't it? Step out of your four-story building and see how it's felt. Oh, it's felt. And the higher you go away from planet Earth, the more you see it and feel the effect of that gravitational pull. But go all the way back to being on the ground and you're comfortable again. You don't feel the pull on your life. You don't feel the leakage. You don't feel that you are being shrunk. Your bone structure is shrinking. Your life is shrinking. The time and effort, everything is shrinking because of that gravitational pull. Now, I've told you more than once that I was about to leave you bozos, guys. I don't want to call you bozos, but I do that affectionately, by the way. You're my baby bozos. Goo goo gaga. Anyway, I was about to leave you guys. I was about to sail into the sunset, basically just be done and travel, experience cultures, and explore the world of wines and the whole thing. And up pops Bitcoin in my life. And there we go again. New lease on life. A greater urge than ever before to pound the table on financial freedom. I have been in the business of teaching or preaching financial freedom to the best of my ability my entire adult career. It is what I've given my life to. It is what I've sacrificed going down certain avenues of life for. I wanted to carry people with me. I wanted people to be able to see what I saw, experience what I experienced. I considered myself fortunate to have gotten into a space that the vast majority of people are purposefully locked out of. And I wanted to be a light, a beacon for people who did not have access to the financial world, that would never have access to the inner workings of Wall Street and how money works. My whole obsession, my adult life, was learning how money works. And understanding how money works from the Wall Street point of view actually served as an impediment for me to understanding Bitcoin earlier than I did. But at the same time, it was serving as an impediment. It also was served as a foundation or a springboard for me actually getting it faster. So that's the strange dichotomy of my background, where it was stopping me from understanding Bitcoin, but ultimately helped me understand Bitcoin probably faster than most who did not have a career surrounded or connected to understanding money and its current and its flow and its movement and its uses and what it really means to people. Most people are floating around in their daily lives and they can't tell you what money is. All right. Most people believe that money is still backed by something. That's how out of the loop the vast majority of the people in the world are. Most people believe that if a money is not a token that's been created by a bunch of men more privileged than they are, then it can't be money. That's how backwards things are. That's how far off the truth this system of slavery has taken the entire world, that the vast majority of people on earth only will respect a money, a token that is created by men that are more privileged than they are. And historically, that has never been money. Money has never been created by a man. Money has never been chosen by a ruler, by a king, by a kingdom, by a pharaoh, by a president. Money has never historically been chosen by a small group of people. Money has always been chosen by the people. And for the first time in a long time, we have a money that is of the people, for the people, by the people, and controlled by the people, and not by the few. And it is here to stay. It is here to grow. It is here to free us. It is here as our escape. It is here as our off ramp that frees us from this financial slavery that all of us are in. But Bitcoiners, traders, it's time to use the system it's time to flip it. It's time to use the system to escape the system. It's time to use the token we are forced to give our lives for, and to immediately flip it to something completely outside of the system. And I'm afraid that that opportunity that every human being has today, I'm afraid that opportunity will not exist the way it exists today forever. There'll always be access to freedom, but freedom comes in layers as well. All right. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. I don't want to keep you too long. I just want to quickly see here if there's anyone here who has anything, any questions or comments. All right. Someone was saying that I can post. Carlos is saying I can post the image on X now, but on the X Spaces now. I got to figure out how to do this stuff, guys, to be honest with you. But I know that if I can do this. Yeah. I know how to post regularly. I just see how some of these guys doing the spaces, they have the image at the top that you can scroll. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out though. And one of my team members will know how to do this. Just setting share feedbacks, view rules, view captions. But anyway. Carlos Suarez is asking, Oliver, how can I save more secretly my seed phrase? All right. You know, there's this, I can't remember who said this saying. I don't know if it was Benjamin Franklin or someone, but there's this old saying that in order for two people to keep a secret, one of them must die. There are no secrets until Bitcoin. Bitcoin has given us the ability to truly hold our value dear, the same way we hold love and honesty and decency and justice. We hold these things dear, and no one can take our honesty away from us. No one can take our honor away from us. No one can take our valor away from us, and no one can take our Bitcoin away from us as long as that seed phrase is protected, secure, and is always held secret. Now, there are different levels of different levels of securing your Bitcoin, which actually is your seed phrase, by the way. And this is something that I find that a lot of people don't sort of get. It's a little bit difficult to get when you're sort of coming out of the old system. It's not so easy to grasp the fact that your Bitcoin is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. So your Bitcoin is universal, it's ubiquitous, it is always with you. You cannot escape your Bitcoin. No matter where you go, there it is. You go to sleep, it's with you. You wake up, it's with you. You travel, it's with you. It's with you every single moment of your life. It is with you with every single breath. It is everywhere and nowhere at the same time because it is outside of the physical world, which is what makes it more powerful. All right. It makes it have almost no limitations because it has no physical qualities. The same way love is the most powerful universe, the powerful force in the universe, but it is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It has no physical qualities, yet we all know it's there. We all know that oxygen is there. That does have some physical qualities. You can change it to have some physical qualities, but you get the point. Anyway, there are different ways of securing your Bitcoin. What is your Bitcoin? Your secret. How crazy is that? Your Bitcoin is actually your secret. Your Bitcoin does not sit in a wallet. Your Bitcoin does not sit in a cold storage device. Your Bitcoin is with you. It is your secret. What's your secret? 12 to 24 words. All right. Now, it's necessary for you to guard that secret. It's necessary for you to protect that secret. Yes, freedom comes with certain responsibilities. I'm sorry, there is no one that you should be giving that secret to. There is no one that you should be trusting it to. All right? Except your closest you the only people you should trust your secret with are people that you wouldn't mind if they took it all. If you don't mind that your family takes it all from you, fine. Then you can share it with them. But if you care, you shouldn't even share it with them. Right? You only share your secret with someone or someone that you don't mind if they took the whole thing. All right? And so, yes, freedom comes with responsibility. All right? We have to grow up if we want to be free. All right? We have to stop trusting custodians and trusting the master to hold our wealth like the slaves of old used to do. Massa can hold it for me. All right. We have to get away from that. We have to be responsible and hold it ourselves, protect it ourselves. All right. We're adults. We can do that. You protect your house keys. You protect your car keys. You make sure no one steals your house keys and your car keys. You protect the combination to your safe. You make sure that's in a place where no one can get to it. You do these things already. We need to stop pretending like this is so complex. All right. You want 2, maybe 3 copies in different locations. You want that secret put on something that is non-corrosive, not a piece of paper that can become wet and the secret's blurred and gone. You can't read it anymore. All right. You want to make sure your secret is maybe etched on metal, titanium, something like that. There are plenty of products that allow you to do that today. And you want 2, maybe 3 copies in different locations. Um, you know, an office, your home, a family member. And these the further these things can be away from each other, the better. All right. There is another level of security called multi-signatures, multi-sig, where instead of having one secret, you have, let's say, 3 secrets, if you will. So your wealth is divided amongst 3 secrets. Any one of those secrets can't move or take or spend your wealth. All right. You need 2 of those secrets out of the 3, as an example. That's a 2 out of 3 multi-sig. Some people are adamant that that is too complex for the majority of people. I beg to differ with that. I do believe that ultimately everyone over time should move to a multi-sig signature, a 2 of 3 or something like that, or a 2 of 4 system, where it takes more than one secret or one key, if you will, to unlock. And you make sure those keys are geographically in different locations. It eliminates a single point of failure. It makes it far more difficult to be subject to the $5 wrench attack where someone tries to take it from you. They are stealing Bitcoin now all over the world. They are taking people's phones, forcing them to unlock it, knowing that almost 99% of the people keep their cryptocurrency, their Bitcoin, on an exchange. That exchange or wallets on your phone, and they're forcing people to open up their phone and send them your wealth. All right. Multi-sig, that just simply can't happen. All right. So, for anyone who wants to go down the rabbit hole and understand security better with their Bitcoin, whether it be with a single secret, whether it be with multiple secrets, multi-sig versus single sig, I suggest BTC Sessions YouTube channel. That's his name, BTC Sessions, like the very session we're having here today. All right, BTC Sessions. And anything and everything connected to wallets, how to secure your Bitcoin, the different ways you can do it, the different services you can do, the different wallets you can use, it's all there. Knock yourself out, but I promise you, you'll become one of the most educated people on these things right from BTC Sessions YouTube channel. All right, guys. All right. Let's see here. Calvin never fails. Hopefully the Mexico City tour has gone well. It did. Thank you very much. All right, fantastic. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining. I've always told you that I've been speaking on the topic of financial freedom for a very long time, and that it doesn't matter how many times I'm offered the honor to grab a mic or to speak to a group, whether that's a group that's a couple or a small group or a big group or even a small spaces like this. It is something that I don't take for granted. I know that you could be right now spending your most precious commodity, your time doing something else, but you're listening to me. That's something that I don't take for granted. I always do my best to try to deliver something of value when I'm given the opportunity to do this. I hope I did this tonight. Hope I didn't fumble it too much, but if I did, I promise you I'll try to get better and better each time. All right, guys, listen, enjoy your night, enjoy your morning, enjoy your evening, depending upon where you are tuning in the world. This is recorded, so anyone who hasn't caught it from the beginning, if you have any interest in doing that, it'll always be posted on my X profile, okay? All right, if you happen to speak Spanish, I've also started a Spanish-only tweet, I guess, X profile that does virtually every single thing that I do here in the Spanish language, and other languages are coming. All right, traders, Bitcoiners, enjoy. Ciao for now. My name is Oliver Velez, and I am your 13%er Bitcoiner. Be safe out there, and until next time. Boom!